Welcome back to the channel, guys. Here on Jack's Cougar Sports and the Sports Headline Show. I am your host, Sean Davis. And we're going to continue our draft coverage with a 7-round Los Angeles Chargers mock draft. So please do me a favor, guys. Hit that thumbs up button here on YouTube. If you guys are listening on podcasting platforms, please subscribe and share the podcast to your friends and be a friend, share, tell a friend, whatever, however that saying goes. But let's look into it here. So the first team we're going to break down and do a 7-round mock draft for is the Los Angeles Chargers, my Chargers. We just hired head coach Brandon Staley. We have some needs, and we'll start like tier 1. It's like the two things that really need to be addressed, and that is offensive line, particularly left tackle and corner, because there is only one outside corner that is currently on the roster, and Michael Davis. So corner and offensive line, especially on the left side, I'm really like the right side of the offensive line. So long everybody stays healthy. Talking to you, Brian Balaga. So pick the left side of the line. I think you have one of the better offensive lines in the league, especially in the AFC. And then you got edge rusher, wide receiver, and I will probably add tight end to that one. Tight would probably be tier 3, but edge rusher, wide receiver are the next two. We're like, ooh, you would really love to address those as well. Not the most pressing needs, but you would love to address those. And then I would add tight end there, where you would like to add another one, but if you don't, I think you're fine. So let's get to this mock draft here, with the first pick being the pick 13 in the first round, Elijah Vera Tucker to the Chargers. How realistic this is of happening, I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest with you, especially after Coach Staley's press conference he did, I think, a couple weeks ago. We were talking about length and offensive line and like arm length specifically. Elijah Vera Tucker doesn't have the arm length that Coach Staley was referring to, I feel. But this is a what I would do mock draft, and based off the players available, Slater was gone. Obviously, Sewell was gone, right? By 13, if Sewell gets past pick 7, you have to trade up immediately. Just off what I evaluated from Tucker, really, really nice feet, has great technique, one of the better run defenders in the draft class, solid pass protector. He has the versatility. You can pretty much plug him in anywhere on the offensive line, and you would be well more than fine. You could just go watch his tape. He has multiple games to tackle. I think he played the whole year this year at left tackle. I think it was the Utah game was one of his best games. It's not his best game at left tackle. This guy, he checks all the boxes if you're a Chargers fan. This is my guy. Shout out to Steven from the Guilty as Charged podcast. But anyway, Elijah Vera Tucker here at 13. Second pick, first pick in the second round, we're going to take Richie Grant, safety out of UCF. He's a really versatile chess piece defensively. I use the word chess piece because that's kind of how he'll be used in this Brandon Staley defense. A jack of all trades. You can put him at slot corner in some nickel packages. I think you can even bump him outside, need be, as an outside corner in some situations. But he's also that safety, so Derwin James can be down closer to the line of scrimmage, have a bigger impact, so Derwin James can guard the bigger body tight ends and make an impact on the passer, rushing the passer, stopping the run. So now Richie Grant can play back, is more of that free safety-esque type of player, and Derwin James is to be a little bit more close to the line of scrimmage and help this Chargers team out. All right, so we're going on to the next pick here. Trade alert, the Washington football team and the Chargers. We're going to make a trade here. I don't know how well you guys can see that. If you guys can't see the trade info at the top right of your screen, I'll move it down for the next one. But we're going to trade next year's second round pick and our third rounder for this year to move up back into the second round to pick 51. We're going to take Ifeatu Melifonwu. I tried my best to do that. Gosh, I suck at names. But anyway, we're going to take him out of Syracuse. By the way, you guys can see our draft grades. If you guys, if it's not in the description of Jack Cougar Sports, you guys can check it out on our channel, the Sports Headline Show. But look, he's a really long, lengthy outside corner. And again, you just need some upside here. Now, unfortunately, Paulson Adebo was available in the 3rd round without me having to trade up. So you could say, hindsight's 2020 now. But I think he's a better prospect. He was not in my original top 10 cornerbacks list. Actually, I just want to make sure I don't misspeak here. I didn't misspoke there. He is, just trying to find my draft content. Corners, yeah, he's not on my list. He just missed it. After rewatching his tape, he would have definitely been on the list. He probably would have been 7, so I probably would have bumped everybody back one. So you're looking at, he'll be right behind Eric Stokes. Yeah, that was bad. Put him right behind Eric Stokes, so he'd probably be right ahead of Kelvin Joseph, Aaron Robinson, Tyson Campbell, and those kind of guys there. So that's probably where I would have put him at. Yeah, I think he's a great guy to add to this Chargers defense to really help us out, because we really need some help there at the cornerback position. And again, you put him alongside Michael Davis, Chris Harris Jr. in the slot. You have Richie Grant, the chess piece, back there with Derwin James. You work up front a little bit. You're looking at one of the better defenses in the league if they can stay healthy. So let's move on here to the 3rd round pick that we have. This is not the compensatory pick that we just traded, the compensatory pick. This is our 3rd round pick. We're going to take Peyton Turner out of Houston. And look, here's the thing about Peyton Turner. He's a really solid run defender, okay? He has some of that explosive get-off that you can play him in a 2- and 3-point stances. He has the length that you like to see. He's very quick and mobile. He was catching up with Zach Wilson in the game they played BYU in this year. He plays with toughness now. I actually think you could be looking at Peyton Turner as a late 1st-round pick if the injury concerns weren't slightly there. I'm reading here. Tore his ACL in his senior year of high school. He had a calf strain in his senior year and missed some time at the Senior Bowl and offseason workouts. So there is slight injury concerns there, and the fact that he's going to Houston, which, I think scouters and teams do often sometimes scout the, I think scouts oftentimes scout the helmets as well. So I think playing in Houston and all those other factors, including injuries I just mentioned, will kind of hurts him a little bit. But putting him on the other side of Joey Bosa, I think this could really help this Chargers defense. And again, I've been a lot more off defense than I expected here. I thought going into this would be like, hey, you know what? We're going to go give Herbert some weapons. We're going to give Herbert some protection. Call it a day. I think it's equally important to give Brandon Staley some chess pieces defensively. You're going to see like Richie Grant. First 4 picks, 3 defense, 1 offense, right? And I would arguably say, I think both sides of the ball need some work, but we are doing this because you want an elite defense. You want to give Brandon Staley some chess pieces, as I keep calling him that, because he is a really creative defensive play caller. In the way he schemes up things defensively, you want to give him all the tools possible. For Christ's sake, he had Darius Williams looking like a Pro Bowl cornerback for the Rams. They had Leonard Floyd getting paid almost $18 million a year, right? And that's all in large fact because of him. John Johnson had a career year. Troy Hill had a great year. This is why you want to build some of this defense up and still have some of the offensive pieces, which is why in the 4th round, we're going to go snatch Jalen Darden out of North Texas. I like to think I'm a little lower on Jalen Darden, but I can really explain this pick really easily for you guys. Chess piece. He is a chess piece where you can scheme up touches for in the quick, short, intermediate game, jet sweeps and all that kind of stuff. Because you have your deep threat in Mike Williams. Your go up and go get the jump ball in your Mike Williams. You have your separator and your get open guy. That's probably poor terms there. But you have your separator, your route runner, number 1 receiver, and Keenan Allen. You have your, 2 other real deep threats, right? And Tyron Johnson, Jalen Guy also be a really nice round to catch guy as well. But Jalen Darden, you don't have a guy on the roster that you can scheme up touches for, that can get up, that you want to get him in a space. Jalen Darden is this guy. Doesn't have great hands. It's like when you talk about going up and contesting with corners or what have you. Not a great route runner. I'm questionable about his press and how he's going to beat press at the second level. But you get this guy into space, which is, I think, all you got to ask him to do is get him in space and get out the way and block. I think that's all you really ask Jalen Darden to do. And this is a game-changing type of guy. I don't want to say Tavon Austin, but that's kind of the first guy that comes to mind is like, hey, any minute, or Deshaun Jackson in his prime. Deshaun Jackson, a watered-down Deshaun Jackson, not as good of a guy who can go deep, beat press, or what have you, and go up and catch a ball. But when Deshaun Jackson got in space, there was not more of a deadly receiver in his prime than Deshaun Jackson in space. You hope Jalen Darden can do that for you. With the 5th round pick, we're gonna draft Chuba Hubbard, just to be a second guy behind Austin Eckler when he does inevitably have to miss some time because for the Chargers. But what happened is really the question that you ask here. Last year, Chuba Hubbard is a late first, early second round pick. It came out last year. This year, I mean, I think there were some injury concerns. I'm just really puzzled by what the problems are with Chuba Hubbard. I mean, like why there was such a regression, right? It's almost kind of came out of nowhere to me anyway, right? So you would hope that you could get Chuba Hubbard of old back and to play him alongside, if you could play him alongside Austin Eckler in this run game. He's really patient and he plays with confidence, right? I kind of like him a lot. For this team to be behind Austin Eckler, you can have a running back by committee approach for this Chargers team. And what happened there? All right, we're good. So, 6th round pick here. This is our compensatory pick, I believe, from the Desmond King going to the Tennessee Titans. So we're going to grab William Bradley King, edge rusher from Baylor. If you cut on his Senior Bowl tape, that's kind of what intrigued me. Watching his Senior Bowl tape, I really liked him a lot. Thought he played really, really well at the Senior Bowl. He had great production last year, if I recall. Yeah, he had really great production last year, 8.5 sacks. This is Matt Rule's last year at Baylor. You put him in as this chess piece, rotational edge rusher who can come in on third downs, get some additional pass rushing on the quarterback. I think that's all you kind of ask him to do. He could at some point possibly develop into a low-tier starter who you're fine with, but you would definitely like to see an upgrade. But in the 6th round, at this point, you're kind of looking for depth, right? Depth at certain positions. So you're going to go grab William Bradley King at a Baylor. So we're going to grab him. And then with our second 6th round pick, this is our actual 6th round pick, we're going to grab Keith Taylor out of Washington. Again, just adding some depth pieces here for our secondary. You're going to expect some injuries in the secondary at some point. You want to have some more guys that can play on the outside. He's more of a primarily outside corner. So you can now have Keith Taylor, Michael Davis, Iftu. If I'm not pronouncing the Syracuse's cornerback wrong, please correct me in the comment section below. And then you have Richie Grant, Derwin James, Nazir Adderley in the safety core. I really like what we've done with this defense. Keith Taylor, etc., etc. With our last pick here, we're going to grab Landon Young, offensive tackle out of Kentucky. Here's the thing about Landon Young. He was a 4-star prospect coming out of high school, going to Kentucky. Never could really land, get a firm grip on a starting job. I think he had a couple of injuries while at college at Kentucky. But at this point, kind of looking for a developmental traits prospect. He's a solid run blocker, and that's kind of all you ask for. Like, hey, can you do this? Can you do this? Oh, you can do this? Okay, fine. Let's draft you. See if we can develop some of the other stuff that you have problems with so that you can fill in when a Brian Bulag has to miss games. If you don't, I don't see a world where you don't get a left tackle, but if one of your tackles go down, you know you have a sufficient run blocker or a well enough run blocker where you're like, okay, we have Landon Young in. I think we're fine. Let's dink and dunk a little bit more in the passing game. I do not like Landon Young when you're asking him to hold up some blocks, especially get some of the speedier edge rushers. I do not like that at all, right? So in these latest rounds, you're kind of grabbing some depth pieces that you're hoping you can develop and maybe, who knows, turn them into a starter. And that's kind of what the name of the game is. So anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe here on Jack's Cougar Sports and the Sports Headlines Show. Follow us on Twitter at SportsHeadline8. And we got some more mock drafts coming for you guys. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.